following podcast is recorded and produced by the Podcast Precinct in affiliation with the network at bicbp-radio.com. The Podcast Precinct. Consistency, creativity, culture.
The Nostalgia Funhouse proudly dedicates all episodes in the loving memory of Connie Chirac. So, Johnny, I've been hearing really great things about this Nostalgia Funhouse. It just brings back so many great memories.
Andrew, another reason I'm moving in line with you here is that you really vouched for this show. So I'm just going to believe you that this is the show that, I've been wanting, which is just talking about all the fun stuff from our yesteryear and the years before. And I really hate anything meta. So I'm glad that what we're doing right now is not that.
Oh, no, definitely. What is meta? Isn't that Ron Artest's new name?
Well, add world and peace to it, sure.
Yeah, but this is great. They last year they were tearing play sets and Halloween costumes.
Well, that sounds cool.
They get these weird court recordings from pop culture courts.
Does anybody care about court cases?
These ones are kind of cool. They put Scott Kelvin on trial. Poor old Santa Claus there.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Okay, that sounds interesting.
Yeah, man. You know what's the best part about this is though? Is I hear they always got a really great sponsor. You can check it out right there.
New from Jim Henson Video, 2 classic Muppet movies, each with a special offer.
It's time to meet the Muppet. That's us. It's time to join the crew. That's them. It's time for Muppet Magic and a special gift for you. We've got the Muppet movie, the great Muppet Shaper 2, and you can get a free watch.
Did you say get a free watch?
Yes, we said get a free watch. When you see the sign, it's Muppet time, especially for you.
For a limited time, you can get a free watch with each Muppet movie on video from Jim Henson Video, rated G.
Why are there so many songs about podcasts, especially the Nostalgia Funhouse? My name is Johnny, and there is Andrew, and we are your podcast hosts. And if you like podcasts, especially about nostalgia, then you've come to the right place. Hello, welcome to, I just read it up off the top of my head, Nostalgia Funhouse. Johnny and Andrew here.
That was damn good.
Thank you.
That was damn good.
That's one of those songs that literally sticks in your ear and it's just there for a while after you hear it.
Yeah, I was going to mention this in the Jim Henson episode.
Jim Henson is like what all the they love that. They love him in Colorado.
Is my kids were obsessed with Rainbow Connection. I used to drive them to school and it would be the song that they just want to listen to. And I didn't mind playing it because everything got real mellow.
Yeah, it's a great song. Yeah, Jim Henson does make things real mellow.
Yes.
What are we talking about? This, of course, is the last episode of our Jim Henson or Henson month.
Henson. Henson's next month.
What are we talking about today, Andrew?
The Muppet movie, the original Muppet movie. We got to kind of say that because there is another Muppet movie that came out in what? I don't know.
2011.
Okay, so
Yeah, which is well, I don't give away how I feel about this particular movie, but the 2011 one is pretty dang good.
It is. I don't think there's really too many bad Muppet movies out there.
I mean, if you love the Muppets, they're always going to be good. I think some are better than others, but I still haven't seen one that I didn't like.
Number one in my heart, Muppets Take Manhattan will always be number one. Not to
know
how I feel about this, but personal favorite, Muppets Take Manhattan.
Yeah.
I used to think that was the Muppet movie growing up.
Oh, yeah.
Because I just never, when I'm 4 or 5 watching it, I'm like, oh, this is the Muppet movie. This one looks cool. It had Gregory Hines. And I want to bring that up later on about this movie too.
Okay. I really, really love A Muppet Christmas Carol. It might be one of my favorite Christmas movies.
That was really good, except for that freaky ghost at the end.
Yes, that was creepy.
That's the only thing. But the Muppet movie, we're not gonna. Should we? No, well, I'll give a shout out to our friends across the pond. Was actually released May 31st, 1979 in the UK, and then came over here June 22nd, 1979 here.
Now, for those who don't know why, it was a man named Lord. That was his last name, who gave the Muppets a chance. The Muppet Show, especially, and it was filmed in the UK. And this movie, they actually filmed it, I think, in between seasons 3 and 4 of the Muppet Show.
And also, I don't know why, but it shows for runtime. It's a good thing we watched the US version, Johnny. The runtime in the UK is 2 minutes longer than the US version.
That would have been 2 minutes too long, or I would have loved it. I don't know. Yeah, this is a very fun movie. We'll get into it. But the
Made a lot of money.
it sure did. That's what I was about to say. This movie was a hit. I think they made it for like how much? Do you have the budget stuff on?
Yeah, $8 million. Box office was $65.2 million.
Yeah, wham bam, thank you, ma'am. That's doing pretty good right there.
The money,
Yeah,
not like Doc Hopper, but
yeah, a lot of frog legs. I've never seen so many people just obsessed with frog legs as I did in this movie.
when it gets into it, the one thing that just got to me of how subtle Kermit is.
Yeah.
Like one of the things I put. I didn't take Johnny and I both. We were talking about this. We didn't take both many notes, because we just kind of sat back and enjoyed the movie at one point. Where
Yeah.
it's just like we're gonna. It's very fast action.
Yes, this movie kind of zips pretty good at a good pace, which is kind of like the opposite of the Dark Crystal in a way.
Yes, yes. But
Uh,
you ready to get into the movie?
yeah, let's do this.
So story opens up. No, Kermit the Frog is living in a swamp in Florida. I wondered where it was.
Well, technically, the movie opens up with the Muppets going to their own movie.
Oh
premiere.
yes, yes, yeah. And what's with that giant bird in the background? Like
I don't know. I noticed that
okay,
too.
he was
Yes, yeah.
you they pan out and they show all the Muppets sitting there about to watch the Muppet movie. Like,
Yeah.
this whole movie, and Robin's like, "Is this really how the Muppets became rich and famous?" And Kermit's like, yeah, I guess." Kind of going around. And all of a sudden,
Yeah, this movie has a lot of referential jokes in it, like
Yeah.
a lot. Yeah,
and then all of a sudden they pan back, and you can like pick people out. Like, oh,
yeah,
like if you had to explain to your kids, and then see, this is how much I remember even yesterday. Up in the upper left hand corner, there's this like it's not Big Bird, this giant technicolored bird,
yeah.
just googly eyes all over the place that I have never seen before in any Muppet movie.
Right, yeah. And we'll get to my favorite. You already kind of mentioned my favorite cameo in this movie is obviously Big Bird, but a lot of stars show up in this.
I popped hard.
Yeah, I popped the biggest for Big
that
Bird.
might be a long story because I started looking up something else for us to review, but unfortunately,
Okay. But let's talk about this opening scene. I think this opening scene of Kermit in the swamp is, to me, it might be one of the most iconic opening scenes for a movie. Like, it's up there, right? Like, everybody thinks Kermit. I think you automatically think of the scene of him in the swamp.
Yes,
playing his banjo. Yeah.
Dom DeLuise is there because
Yes.
DeLuise is lost.
Yes.
And he's playing talent agent Bernie, who encourages Kermit, to get out of the swamp. And he's like, "Hey, don't you got any movies here?" And Kermit's like, "Yeah, there's a double feature."
Yeah.
Every Friday at the movie theater. And he's like, "Get out of the swamp and go." He's got a variety on him while he's a talent agent, and he tells him about the auditions for frogs to become rich and famous. But Dom had to get out of there because Ernie, the alligator, was coming for him.
Now,
how they filmed this or how they made this, Kermit really is surrounded by water. So what Henson did, he literally had like a tank made for him that went into the water, and he had like an air hose so he could breathe, and he puppeted Kermit from underneath the water, almost like in his own little submarine.
I know he could have did it from like they could have built like a ledge on the edge of the of the bank there of the swamp, but nope, he went full on out.
Yeah. Yes.
We talked about this before because all of a sudden Kermit's like, "Oh, I should do this," and then that's when you see Kermit on a bike. Like you don't just see,
Yes.
you see full Muppet
Riding a bike.
and it's
This movie is filled with incredible, and it's almost like scene after scene, just incredible effects they did with these puppets to figure out how to make them do all this stuff. Like from that to him riding the bicycle, they had to use like a big crane to help do that. To Fozzie driving a Studebaker, they had to rig a Studebaker to make that work. I mean, there's all kinds of awesome stuff they did for this movie.
I love when he's riding his bike, and that's when you start seeing the Doc Hopper signs, frog legs, and he gets run over, he gets run into the paving machine, and he's sitting on top, and he's like, "Oh, it's a good thing that a frog can hop, because I was almost gone with the Schwinn."
Yes.
I was like, that is amazing.
This movie has jokes that you would think that I wrote. Left and right.
But they're so good at every aspect.
Yeah, as opposed to my jokes. Yeah.
He goes into a bar per se, and they're just full of cameos too. Madeline Kahn, Tony Savalas, and that was one of the things that I was watching this as I started going through it. Is are we the last generation that are going to recognize these celebrities? Because these are some of them are very niche celebrities of the time.
Even for us, there's some that I didn't know. I
really?
knew most of them, but like a couple of them I had to look up because I just wasn't really sure who they were. But obviously they were somebody. A lot of faces that I definitely remember. But you might be onto something because this is late 70s when this movie comes out. So these are all celebrities who are pretty big for the late 70s. Bob Hope's in this.
Yeah.
And I don't even think this generation today definitely does not know anything about Bob Hope.
I think if I went to the 120-year-old that I work with and I said, I'm going to name off people, the only person who would get is Richard Pryor.
Yeah. Oh, Steve Martin. I think he gets Steve Martin.
No, he wouldn't even know who Steve Martin is.
Well, he needs.
He knows.
Well, Steve Martin is awesome in this movie.
He knows who Richard Pryor is because his parents are very into Richard Pryor, because he's like one of the only people that I know that knows about the movie The Toy.
Oh yeah.
And I was like, wait a minute, you know that? And he was like, oh yeah. He was like, I used to watch it as a kid. I was like, well, you still are a kid, but
yeah. But I think you're right.
But at this bar, the bar is filled too, because you got Paul Williams doing the music. Like I said, Tony Savalas, Madeline Kahn kind of reprising her role.
Frank Oz is in there too, by the way.
Madeline Kahn is reprising her role kind of from Blazing Saddles. Because that's what got me, because I was like, I know her.
And this is where we meet my favorite Muppet.
Yes.
Fozzie Bear.
We meet Fozzie Bear, who this is so great. Is when he was like talking about the sailor being fat. And then the fat sailor he's like, I heard he's a very nice person.
Nobody said anything bad about him ever again. Yeah. So good. And so Kermit gets up to try to help him. And that also doesn't go well. They try to do a dance number.
Yeah.
But one of my favorite jokes
looked pretty good though, too.
Oh, I think yes. Just from a Muppet, from the technical standpoint, yes. But then one of my favorite jokes in the whole movie happens when Fozzie goes, "Hey, drinks are on the house."
Yeah.
So the place clears out, and then it cuts to all the people on top of the bar. Go, "Hey, there's no drinks up here." That was so awesome. I love that so much. That is like a naked gun level joke.
Oh yeah. There's a lot of that stuff in here.
Yeah.
Uh this is where also you meet kind of the villain or of the thing of Doc Hopper, who has his French fried frog legs, and he wants Kermit to be his spokesman.
Yeah. Max, his assistant, who oh god, what's that actor's name? He's been in a lot of stuff. He was in Short Circuit.
Uh,
Um
that's
can't
what
remember.
he's. Thank you.
Oh, you were trying to place him? Yeah, Short Circuit, remember?
Yeah, Austin Pendleton.
Yeah. He's in this. And Doc thinks that Kermit would be the perfect spokesman for his frog leg restaurants.
Oh, why is he so different? In Short Circuit, he was played an ass, and in this, he plays a pretty nice guy. Not to
Yeah,
get,
in this one he ends up being awesome.
yeah, not happy about that change. Uh, I, yeah, so yeah, so that's where they kind of like media Max is trying to look for him, and they get into, like you said, the Studebaker, who uh Fozzie's uncle left him,
Yeah.
but that was another good one. Yeah, oh, did he pass away? Kermit was like, "Oh, did he pass away?" He's like, "Oh no, he's just hibernating."
He also had a great line where he goes, bear's natural habitat, the Studebaker.
Yeah, because everybody knows that's the bear's natural habitat.
Where are these jokes, Fozzie, when you're on the stage? These
Yeah.
jokes are great.
But Doc Hopper, that's oh my goodness, that was a good one too. Was Doc Hopper finally catches up to him? He shows him his commercial, and he's like, "My commercial's terrible with you, Kermit. It would be the best. I would offer you $500 in advance." And Kermit's like, "I can't do that. That's just sounds horrible." And then they take off, Fozzie and Kermit, and Hopper's like, "Max, follow that car." And Max
Yeah.
takes off without Doc Hopper. And he's like, "Wait a minute, get back here." He was like, "Follow that car with me in this car."
And so the chase ensues.
Yes. And then that's where we get the moving right along song.
Moving right along. This movie's filled with great songs, by the way. Also, I think it's near here where we get our favorite cameo, Andrew, because they're driving down the highway, and who's making their way to try to make it to public television?
Big Bird.
Big Bird himself.
Jeez. You know what the first thing I thought of was Follow That Bird. And then
Yeah,
I realized that they were two, like, you think these movies were like 5 or 6 years apart when they came out. So I was like, oh yeah, that can't be a part of that.
Yeah.
But, yeah. Big Bird was going to New York to make it in public television. And then
spoiler alert, he totally does.
Yeah. And I immediately looked up to see if you could Follow That Bird streaming anywhere, because that is the first movie I ever saw in a movie theater, and great cameos in that one as well.
Oh, I bet so. It's been forever since I've seen it.
Oh, I love Follow That Bird.
Gotta follow that bird.
And then they hide out. Oh, that's where also comes up too, is Doc Hopper stops them, and he's got the billboard. And this was the other thing that I had to write down that I thought was hilarious, was he's showing Kermit how he could make him in, if he was a spokesman, what he could do and everything else. And it's like you just kind of hear Kermit mumble. He's like all those millions of frogs on tiny little crutches. No idea why, but I thought that was hilarious.
There's also a running Harry what's that called? I'm blanking on it. There's a running gag. Harry Kishna, is that right? That's it, right?
Yeah, if you lost your way.
If you lost your way. It was pretty funny. He was even on that church sign, which made me laugh.
Or what was the other one? Carol Khan, if you say myth. She pops out of nowhere. She's like, "What?" That's from the bar. But yeah, they get to an old church, and that's where we meet Dr. Teeth
and the Electric Mayhem. Yeah.
I love that one too. They're like, you got to talk to our band manager, Scooter, and What did he say? He was like, "Oh, he makes all your dates." He's like, "Oh no, man, he's the one with the van."
I also love this is where the literal script of the movie comes into play.
Oh yeah, he had some. They like rewind it.
Yeah.
'Cause
Don't get me wrong. I really enjoy the Deadpool movies, but the Muppets did it before them,
yeah,
before Deadpool.
and Spaceballs
Winky,
did it good, but
yeah. This is like next level. Like I love, like they're very upfront about, hey, instead of us explaining the whole movie and boring the audience, which they basically say to us winking at the screen, here we'll give you the script and you can catch up. This is so awesome.
yeah, because then all of a sudden Dr. Teeth starts reading it and it goes to the back by the time they walk through the door.
Yeah, because he's even reading like the stage directions.
That's when the Electric Mayhem do the car so it could hide them better. And
Yeah, so
then
they paint it all kinds of different colors, basically.
yeah, and then we meet Gonzo, and he's driving along, and then all of a sudden his car flips on top of
Yeah.
their car, and he's in there.
And then he's basically like, well, I guess I'm going with you guys.
Yeah.
him and his beautiful chicken.
Yep, Carmilla. And then they get into a used car lot owned and run by, well, where is his name? Mad Money Mooney, played by none other than Mr. TV himself, Uncle Milton Burrow. This is where they meet Sweetums, and Sweetums helps him out in buying the car because Milton Burrow's trying to sell him the Volkswagen Beetle, and the fender falls off, and he's like, "Well, removable fenders in case you got to park in a tight garage."
Well, I love when they're looking at that other car that they end up getting. It's originally like $1,750, but then Sweetums kills a fly or a bug, and it just happens to look just like a decimal point. So now they can buy the vehicle for $17.50.
No, it was $11.
Oh, it's $11. Yeah, yeah.
Because he was offering him $12 trade,
And they wanted 5 cents back.
And
Yeah.
he was like, "Oh, then now you owe us a nickel." And then they take out Sweetums is supposed to go with them, but then they leave Sweetums because they weren't sure because he got out of the car to go get his suitcase. And then we go on to we meet Miss Piggy at the county fair.
Yeah, doing what she does best, winning beauty pageants.
Yep. I think the county fair was just a great part.
Oh, it's a lot of good stuff here.
Yeah, because then you get into Richard Pryor telling Gonzo to buy all the balloons.
Yeah.
Because the ladies will go gaga. And then you see Bob Hope, and he makes a joke to Fozzie Bear. I'm a big mark for Bob Hope. I have no idea. I think it was because he did all those college football All-American things that I was like, oh yeah, I really like this guy.
Yeah, but this movie also just tells you that Miss Piggy and Kermit were always meant to be.
Yes, because it's that. And then when they oh my goodness, Steve Martin, when they go to dinner, that is probably one of the best parts. When
that was a giant highlight for me. I always love Steve Martin anyway, but he is phenomenal here, playing a waiter who obviously does not enjoy his job.
No, especially when he was like, "This is the finest wine Idaho has to offer."
Yeah.
He was like, "Would you like to smell the bottle cap, sir?"
I love it when he goes to take it. Well, would you taste it, please? I think you're supposed to taste it, and he spits it out immediately, and he goes, "It's good. It's good. It's great."
Steve Martin is awesome. We got to review The Jerk. I think that's
I definitely want to do some Steve Martin movies for sure.
I love The Jerk. And then this is where
oscillate that.
Yeah. Oh, I love the movie The Jerk.
Oh, the movie. All right.
Okay. Because he's good in that with his jokes too. But this is where Doc Hopper kidnaps Miss Piggy, and then he kidnaps Kermit the Frog, and also because this is where kind of Ralph comes into play as well. How they get him because he's the piano player.
Yeah.
But then all of a sudden, they have Doc Hopper calls in Oh my goodness, what the hell was his name? Professor Mac Crossman, a mad scientist, because he is going to played by none other than Mel Brooks.
That's right. In a movie that's filled with Mel Brooks like jokes, Mel Brooks shows up.
I still tell my kids every time they tell me that I'm being mean and unfair, and why do I get to do things and stuff like that, and I recite one line. I say, to quote Mel Brooks, "It's good to be the king."
Yes.
But he is trying to brainwash uh Kermit there, but then Miss Piggy breaks through, gets Kermit out of there.
Well, this is where, a couple episodes ago, I was like, why didn't we ever get our Miss Piggy like action / martial arts movie? And she does that a little bit here, which proves to me that she could carry her own movie doing this, and I would watch it.
We just need a Pigs in Space movie. Can we just do that?
Well, the Muppets did go to space.
Did they?
Yeah, there's a movie where they literally go to space.
Yeah, but I just want pigs in space.
I mean, Miss Piggy was there.
No, I just want the pigs in space. But they get out of it, and then
what if it's just like the police academy goes to space?
Oh jeez, that's pretty much everywhere they haven't been.
Well,
That was like one of my very before this was a nostalgia funhouse. During COVID, obviously got a lot of time. I watched all 7 Police Academy movies.
Oh God, there's 7? I thought there were 5.
No, there's 7.
Lord,
I wouldn't say there's 7.
You're probably right. I know that for a fact that I've seen 5 of them. I haven't seen 7 of them.
I've seen all 7, and they get very pretty much, just to sum it up, once Steve Gutenberg leaves, just stop.
Oh, I could have told you that. Yeah.
Just stop. Oh, I would have to. I'll look it up after. But Rolf comes into play. They continue their journey to Hollywood, and then the car breaks down.
Yes.
And they're sitting there reflecting on everything.
They're in the desert.
Yeah. And Gonzo's just kind of looking at the sky. Kermit wanders off and starts to self-reflect and talk to another Kermit.
Well, he's talking to himself. Yeah.
Yeah. And then all of a sudden, who comes out of nowhere? Because they read the script.
They knew where they were. Yep.
Yep. The Electric Mayhem comes in because they offer to drive the entire group the rest of the way in their bus. But then Max warns them that Doc Hopper has hired an assassin.
Right. Who specializes in killing frogs.
Yes. Snake Walker.
Yeah.
Yeah, because they had the shooting thing where everybody's shooting at Kermit. And then that's where they find Bunsen, Dr. Bunsen Honeydew, and his assistant Beaker.
Yep.
In this ghost town, and where they confront Doc Hopper and pretty much just lay down the law to him.
Who saves the day though?
Animal, right?
That's right, Animal. He takes the growth pill and becomes giant.
Oh yeah, because it's a temporary growth pill.
Yeah.
And then they scare off Doc Hopper and all those guys. And once they reach the Hollywood studios, they meet Lou Lord. And he gets them to sign the standard rich and famous contract.
Yes. Do you know who played Lou Lord?
Unicron himself, Orson Welles.
That's right. That's right. Sure did.
You don't think this guy doesn't know Orson Welles' most famous role as Unicron? And then at the end, they kind of all just sing Rainbow Connection.
What's funny or interesting about that last part where the last shot is literally all the Muppets, like it's pretty much every Muppet you can think of, including Bert and Ernie. If you're really looking there, you can find some Sesame Street Muppets in this group. And to do this shot, they needed more puppeteers. So they basically put out an open casting call for puppeteers. And one of the ones who shows up is none other than Tim Burton.
Really?
Yeah. There's another name too. I got to find it. Give me a second. I'm Googling this.
No problem. I was trying to see if Follow That Bird is for free on YouTube. So I'm just killing time.
Oh, John Landis was the other big name. He was one of the puppeteers.
I know that name. I got to see a face.
He did the Blues Brothers. If that helps you any.
Oh, pure. Oh, yeah. Okay. Famous director John Landis. Blues
Yeah.
Brothers, Animal House, Coming to America.
So they had two. They weren't famous quite yet, but two directors who become big, in John Landis and Tim Burton, doing puppets here.
Blues Brothers is a great movie. But that is the Muppet movie. Like Johnny and I said, we talked about, is this? Oh, Cloris Leachman plays Lou Lord's secretary as well. So,
And she's allergic to animals. It's pretty great. Yeah.
so just to run down special guest stars in order of appearance, we got Dom DeLuise as Bernie, James Corbin as El Sneezo, the cafe owner. Oh yeah, that was what was his joke? That was pretty. Oh, when he was like, "That's the most nastiest place in the world," and they were like, "Why don't you go in there?" It's like the owner.
No, he goes, "Why don't you tell the owner? I am the owner."
Madeline Kahn, Tony Savalas, Carol Kane, Paul Williams, Milton Berle, Elliot Gould, Edgar Bergen, Bob Hope, Richard Pryor, Steve Martin, Mel Brooks, Cloris Leachman, and Orson Welles.
This was also the last thing that Ed Bergman did. But if you don't know that name, he was a very famous ventriloquist, and Jim Henson actually really looked up to him. And so it was a big deal for him to get him in this movie.
Because he was the judge at the beauty contest with Miss Piggy.
Yeah. Yeah. This is also one of the few Muppet movies. It might be the only one where the director was somebody outside of the Jim Henson Company. It wasn't any of them. They brought in another person.
Should do that for Dark Crystal.
Probably, yeah.
What are you talking about? This guy, he's a directing genius. He's best known for directing the Muppet movie. This I'm guessing it's Farley or Farley. And he directed the Monkees TV series. Guy's the winner in my book.
Yeah, you could have started the Muppet movie, and I thought he was great.
Oh no, you gotta add it. You gotta add in the Monkees TV series. It's one of the greatest things ever.
Hey, we are the Monkees.
But yeah, as I'm looking at these guys, because my daughter's kind of in there, and I kind of probably missed a couple of parts because she decided that she wanted to talk to me. And I'm like, how do you want to talk to me? Because my wife came home and she's like, why is the TV on 50? I was like, Adriana's trying to talk to me and I'm trying to watch a movie. And it's not like she's trying to like pour her heart out to me.
Yeah, she just wants to chat.
Yeah, like it's like that type of stuff. And I'm like, this is what you want to do now? Like you've been gone all day and now you come home and now you want to do this.
No, she missed her dad.
Yeah. Yeah. Until she came downstairs, like, what's for dinner? And I was like, I didn't cook tonight. And she's like, why do you hate me? So there you go. Why don't you ever want me happy? These are things
you heard it here first. Andrew famously hates his children.
Yeah. You ask them all, I all hate them. We'll spoil his kids on the face of the earth, but I hate them all. But
I mean, how did your daughter get her headphones? You know?
Oh, geez, don't even get me started.
Those expensive headphones.
Anyway,
I really love this movie, Andrew.
Yeah, just to go back to headphones. If you ever need a replacement AirPod, you can get one. Get one from Apple for $89, depending on which generation it is.
That's insane. But an important question, Andrew. Who would you be?
Who would I want to be in this?
Yeah.
Let's see. I think I'm going to go Muppet and kind of a guest star role.
Okay. I like that.
I think I would like to be Steve Martin As
I'd agree there on that one.
I love it how they have him as the insolent waiter working at the restaurant where
Yes.
Walt plays piano. Oh man, which Muppet? I kind of like Kermit.
Yeah, you go Kermit because I'm gonna go Fozzie Bear. So that
Yeah,
works out.
because Kermit's a little bit more. He's always seemed a little bit more straight laced,
But he has some great lines in
but
this.
that Gone with the Schwinn really got me.
Yeah,
It just
yeah.
really got me.
You knew we were in for a great ride when that's one of his first jokes is that.
I wonder how many. Not to sound morbid, but how many of these guest stars are actually still with us?
That is pretty morbid, but Steve Martin's still here.
Steve Martin's still here. Oh yeah, Savalas has been gone since '94. Carol Kane. I'm guessing Elliot Gould is. I know Bob Hope's not.
Well, Kermit's still around, and all the
Mel,
Muppets are still there.
Mel Brooks. Is Cloris Leachman still with us? Cloris Leachman is not with us anymore.
Mel Brooks is in his 90s as well, if I'm thinking right.
Yeah, he's a good 98. He's a good 98.
Good God, man.
He's a good
Mel,
98. Like
Mel Brooks
when
rules.
and when I'm saying that, I saw Mel Brooks and I'm like, I thought he was maybe 90, but
Yeah.
this man is 98. He's looking good. He seems very coherent. Like when I watched that Gene Wilder documentary,
Yeah.
he
Which I really want to watch. I haven't seen that yet, but yeah.
he seemed really, really good. But
all right. Well, we got to rate this out of frog legs, right?
Doc Hopper's frog legs. Doc Hopper's French fry.
French fried frog legs. So how many out of 5 French fried frog legs would you give this?
Oh, this is a 4. This is just good family fun, sit back, nostalgic movie. Like I said, the guest stars will get you to the point where you just, because it's an older movie, and when you, like we talk about, like when you see Mel Brooks now, like he's older, but he's doing, you could tell he's doing good from what I could see in that doc. But still though, you just to see them as young and as spry as what they were, like just to see Richard Pryor in a Muppet movie is great, and to see Bob Hope and all these guys, and I think that's what really, really helps it out is that way. And it kind of saddens me that I don't think anybody really knows who these people are or who are going to know them are later on in life. I mean, they're still going to watch this movie.
Yeah.
But I don't think it's going to make that big of an
impact.
Yeah. On what it
but
is to see us watching it and seeing these guys. I know I'm dwelling on that instead of the actual movie, but I think those guest stars help the movie.
Oh yeah, they were done. It was smart. It was done smartly. The thing I would add though, in the newer generation's defense, they could make a movie that's really good and have like the new generation's top stars, and I probably wouldn't recognize half of them. So,
yeah, that is true too. I'm not even gonna lie.
Yeah, so I'm going to give this a 4.5 out of 5. French fried frog legs. This is everything you would want if you love the Muppets. This is everything you want in a Muppet movie.
It's the original.
The jokes are great. They still hold up. They were smart to make jokes that were not like pop culture related jokes, so it doesn't age the movie at all.
No, it's very just kind of punny jokes.
Right. Yeah, and it all works out really, really well. I really like this movie a lot. It's to me, this is my favorite thing we covered for Jim Henson Month or Henson Month.
One of the 2 parts of the 1951 Studebaker coupe is now on display at the Studebaker National Museum in South Bend, Indiana.
Well, it's gotta be one of the most famous Studebakers there ever was.
Wasn't there the Studebaker in Life with Louie too? That's how I learned what a Studebaker.
Oh, I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, this is definitely got nominated for some good awards there too. Best song, best original song, best album for children. That's a Grammy. It won best album for children. Because it is good. It's just good. this is, I'm all for, crass comedy, but sometimes I like just good, clean comedy where
Yeah.
it makes these stupid little jokes that just kind of give you a nice little chuckle, or
Yeah.
maybe one catches you and you just laugh a little bit harder than what you should. I know my daughter laughed when she was in between talking to me when the brainwashing and Mel Brooks got put into there, and then
Yeah.
afterwards he goes ribbit. I don't know why she laughed. I was like, see, okay. That was one mental note I made sure I took, because
Yeah.
this is what we need in the world.
Yeah. The comedy in this is universal, I think.
I think we need the Muppets, and I think Disney has fumbled the bag on too many franchises for too long, and I think they've really, after going through this month and seeing that there's not a push. I know the Electric Mayhem thing came out and stuff like that,
And it was really good, and actually won rewards too, if I'm thinking correctly. So maybe that'll tell them, hey, we can make some good stuff with Muppets.
but
But we've seen what they've done with Star Wars, so I don't know.
well, you got to put it in the right hands.
That's right. Yeah.
And if you put it in the same hands that they did, the Electric Mayhem show, I just feel like they're making it, this is a good franchise for kids and family.
Yeah.
And to really kind of bridge that gap to, because I don't know. I don't know how many, you know, kids and well, my kids are older, so it doesn't, but that actually sit down and watch a movie. Like I said Muppets Take Manhattan. I remember sitting around with my family watching that. And I feel like this Muppets is a good way. Like the Marvel movies are good, but I think they still kind of exclude, some people that don't want to deal with the superhero and all that stuff.
Yeah, and they tend to skew a little older too, a little bit.
Yeah, and then
Yeah.
Star Wars the same way, especially the way that they're going now, but we're not going to get into that.
Yeah, I would think universally, the Muppets are way more have a broader appeal.
But yet they just don't seem like they want to do something, or if they do something, they don't really get behind it.
Yeah, I don't. I think if it wasn't
Star
for
Wars and Marvel,
if it wasn't for what's the guy's name who made the Goldbergs? I know his last name's Goldberg, but
Adam F. Goldberg.
yeah, if it wasn't for him, because he was kind of behind really pushing the Electric Mayhem show, I don't know if it would have been like if they would have really put all that they did into it. But it ended up being really, really good. So I'm hoping that tells them, hey, we should do some more Muppet stuff.
Yeah, because that guy's only like 2 years older than my brother. So I think Adam F. Goldberg was born in the late 70s. So I mean, is that if us as a generation don't push it, or somebody in Hollywood that's around our age or maybe a little bit older don't push the Muppets, I'm kind of sad of what's going to happen. I mean, they're always going to be there, but it just seems like they're more of a niche thing than when we were kids.
All I know is Adam Goldberg's probably glad that Bret Hart wasn't in charge of Disney, or it never would have happened.
No. But that is my take on the Muppet movie, and kind of how I see the Muppets today.
Yeah, it's on Disney Plus. I highly recommend, if you've not watched it in a while, go check it out. In my opinion, it still holds up very well.
Yeah, it's very, very good. Will watches it every other day.
Yeah.
But that
Will plays moving right along to work out, so he knows what's up.
It is a very kind of good song,
It's a great song.
It tells you got to move right along. So why would you not work out to it if you moving right along? Just keep on moving while you're working out.
Yeah. But this has been Jim Henson Month.
Yep.
Thank you everybody for listening and joining us on this Henson journey. We appreciate all of you. Next month is just gonna be random stuff again, I think. What are we doing next week? Do you remember? I like calling Andrew out. I know he's got his notebook, getting his notebook out.
Yep.
We're going to see what's next.
What's sad is I got to remember what month it is.
We're
doing a request by good old Gary T there.
Oh, I'm looking forward to this.
And we are doing a battle. So we are going to have one bracket of Disney heroes and their songs next to Disney villain and their songs. And we're going to see who comes out on top. Best song, best villain, all that stuff in there as well.
Yeah, I'm going to send you a list of some of the songs we have to include in this.
Please do.
I love Disney movie songs, so I have quite a few that have to be here.
Yeah, we got quite a good month going on out here.
Oh, good, sweet.
Yeah. Not too much. September is going to be our prime month, but I don't want to spoil that until the end of August there.
Love it.
Well, with that being said, on behalf of Johnny, what may not be nostalgia for you may be nostalgia for some.
And if you need to relax, just smoke some Jim Henson.